Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about CELPIP speaking performance standards. So, these are um, standards that are used by CELPIP raters to decide your level and basically to give you a CLB based on your responses. And this is exactly what the raters follow. They might be following a more detailed version of what I'm going to talk about, but those detailed descriptions and criteria are not really publicized. So, this is what we have access to as members of the public and test takers. So basically, what we're going to work on is how the test is really scored. Now, let's go to uh, the four core dimensions of the test, the speaking test, and how it is scored. First of all, is content and coherence. So, content and coherence is two things. The content is basically the quality of your ideas, which is important in CELPIP. That is something that you really need to pay attention to because in IELTS, this is not so important as it is in CELPIP. In CELPIP, they pay attention to the quality of your ideas too. Then coherence is very similar to the idea of coherence in other standardized tests like IELTS or TOEFL, for example. And organization of ideas, you can just guess that um, they are talking about how your ideas are connected with each other, transitions and cohesive devices and transitional devices. Then it comes to vocabulary. In vocabulary, they pay attention to range and precision. So range means how many different types of lexical resources you can use and how precisely you can use them. So, for example, do you say, um, for example, interested instead of keen? Do you say keen on or keen in? These types of specific prepositions that you have to use with the vocabulary and the exact right vocabulary about something. Um, then grammar control is two things. So accuracy and sentence structure. In IELTS, this is referred to as range and accuracy. And accuracy means just don't make mistakes. And sentence structure means um, use a wide range of structures to get a higher score. So simple sentences, compound, complex, and compound complex, which I usually talk about in my tutoring classes and in my upcoming CELPIP course that I'm preparing right now, and also in the ebook that I'm writing right now, which I really recommend that you get, and it's going to be available soon. Then delivery is three things: fluency, pace, and pronunciation. Fluency and pronunciation is obvious, but pace means don't go too fast and don't go too slow. Just a normal pace, the normal pace that Canadians use, which is actually a little bit slower, probably, than many other languages and many other accents of English and English dialects. Now, let's move on to content and coherence. Um, let's get more granular here and focus on these in detail. So, these are the questions that you need to ask yourself when you're thinking about content and coherence. Did the speaker answer the prompt clearly? Did you really answer the prompt, or are you talking about something that is off topic? Are your ideas logically organized? Are you going from point A to point B? Third one, are examples used to support the point, or are your examples irrelevant? That's important. And high scores follow clear reasoning patterns. So it is very clear where you are coming from and where you are going. And that is the hallmark of a high scorer. When it comes to weak versus strong responses, weak responses usually have short ideas with no explanation, and they have repetitive language. But strong responses, they have a claim, that they have a reason for that claim, and they offer an example for that reason. So those three layers of development are used. Strong responses, as mentioned, also follow a very clear logical flow. So the logic is clear and we can follow it, we can understand it. Next is vocabulary range. So low scores rely on general words like good, bad, many things, stuff, make, get, take, have, those types of words. But high scorers use precise vocabulary. And then examples are efficient, affordable, environmentally friendly. Precision really matters. It matters more than complexity, which means that if you use the exact right words, that is much better than using a wide range of words and using crazy difficult words that nobody uses. That is not really the goal in CELPIP. CELPIP is more about being natural, and it's more like an everyday language test, unlike IELTS. So if you are precise, that goes a long way. Now, grammar control, low scorers usually are fragmented in their sentences and they make errors with tenses. So usually my students who are at the level of CLB 5 or 6, they make mistakes with present perfect or simple past, or they don't understand the difference between simple present and present continuous, or simple past and past continuous. So those will create issues for you. Mid scorers, they understandable, but they're understandable but inconsistent grammar. So it means that sometimes their grammar is really good, sometimes not. But high scorers, they have varied sentence structures, which I talked about, and raters usually check whether errors affect communication. So if you made a mistake, does your mistake prevent me from understanding what you are saying or no? That's a very big part of what kind of score you're going to get. So does it impede communication or not? Next is delivery, so fluency and pronunciation. So for fluency, you have to have pace. You have to avoid hesitation. Now, even native speakers have content-related hesitation, but language-related hesitation should be avoided for a high score, especially if you want to get to band score 9 and higher. And fillers, so try not to use a lot of fillers. For example, like, and those types of sounds and filler words that a lot of people use. And pronunciation is focused on clarity and stress patterns. So it's important that you understand where word stresses are and where sentence stresses are, and you can pronounce those clearly. CLB 6 speakers usually hesitate, and that hesitation is usually in the middle of the sentence, which is important. And then CLB 9 plus speakers, They speak smoothly in thought groups, which means they have a thought, they express that thought, then they have another thought, they express that thought. But CLB 6-7, they usually go sentence by sentence, which reduces their pace, disrupts their pace, and reduces their fluency. Now, let's compare the different levels. So CLB 4 and 5, that's basic survival English. The responses are short, the vocabulary is limited, and ideas are difficult to develop. In CLB 6, it's mostly functional communication, so I can order coffee or I can order food at a restaurant or send an application for a job or get some paperwork done. But vocabulary is repetitive. There isn't an acceptable or a satisfactory range there. And there are noticeable grammar errors. And the development of ideas is also limited. This is something that people don't really pay attention to, but it's important. Then in CLB 7, we have competent everyday communication. So you are good at everyday communication. Some structure and supporting ideas. So you have some development, you have a little bit of structure to what you're saying. You have maybe sequencing first, second, after that, thirdly, finally, like that. And then you have moderate fluency, which means that I can kind of follow what you are saying. There aren't a lot of weird pauses. I can basically talk to you at a dinner party. And in terms of academic English, academic communication, CLB 7 is still limited. Now, CLB 8, it has strong professional communication. So you can do a job really well. The responses are organized, good control of vocabulary, and grammar is mostly accurate. So most of your sentences are correct. And CLB 9-10, the communication ability is advanced, arguments are structured, vocabulary is highly flexible, and you just sound confident and natural. And then CLB 11-12, that's near native communication. Explanations are nuanced, which means small details are articulated, and structures are complex, so longer sentences, subordinate clauses, and hesitation is minimal, or if there is hesitation, it's mostly or entirely related to content, not language. Now, the hidden skill that CELPIP tests that is not talked about often is structured thinking under time pressure. So that's something that you need to practice. Usually in my classes, I ask my students to record their voice under a time limit, under 60 seconds, for example, and send it to me, and I listen to it. Students, they lose points when they ramble. If you just talk and talk and talk and talk without any structure, that's called rambling, not good. High scorers follow mental templates, so they have a template. They have like introduction, body, conclusion. That's a mental template. And organization drives fluency. So because they are organized, then they are more fluent. Now, here's a powerful speaking template for you. First, state your opinion. Then give reason 1, give reason 2, provide an example, and then conclude clearly. That's all you can do in 60 seconds or 90 seconds. I hope this video was helpful, and hopefully I'll be able to upload more for you. So stay tuned and visit our website, IELTScorner.ca and CELPIPcorner.ca. Both of those work. And you can subscribe to our AI that I have trained personally that is going to look at your articles, your essays that you are writing for CELPIP, and it's going to give you a CLB, and it's going to tell you why you are getting that CLB, and it's going to tell you how to improve, and it will give you a sample at the level of 9 plus. All of that in one subscription. And there are hundreds of samples that I have uploaded, and I think you're gonna love it. So look at the website. There are lots of resources, free resources, and very affordable resources for you. Until next time.